Hi, welcome to the Bitchy Baker. We have a special guest today, Nicole.
Hi.
She's from Hero Cake Pops. It's true.
And
that's where that
right
is.
here.
That's her Instagram. Go find her. So, like, I can bake stuff, but it doesn't look pretty. I mean,
Yeah,
I'll be the first to admit that. So
She makes pretty stuff.
No, it tastes good. It tastes good, but like I don't, the ADD kicks in and nothing's pretty. So today we are going to make cake pops, and I have someone who knows how to make them pretty. Exactly. So we're going to start by me stopping waving this.
It was very violent.
I know. I
So
really wanna,
aggressive.
Okay, put that down. So we are going to start by making a cake first, and we're doing it the mom trick way, like
Yes.
the I'm busy, but it's going to taste good, I promise. We're not going to use the instructions on the back, except for the time that you're going to bake it. So you're going to want to follow that. The only other like kind of trick to this is you don't want to oil the pan.
No, we
right?
don't oil the pan, just parchment paper. That's all you need.
And we're going to destroy this cake. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what it looks like in this pan.
We're literally
like,
gonna mash it up.
at all.
Yeah.
So, okay. So you are going to use cake mix, whatever flavor you feel like it, or is on sale at the market.
Yep.
I happen to have white cake in the cabinet. See, look at this is how professional we are.
Throw
right
the
here.
bag in there.
Don't
Don't
use
forget
the
the
bag.
bag.
Don't use the bag. All right. So we don't need that.
That's just
All right,
not
yeah.
extra flavor?
No, it's like eggshells. So I'm gonna crack these eggs into a bowl so CJ back there doesn't have a ginormous heart attack, because every time I crack the eggs in the thing, he's like, what if there's shells in there?
It's only a matter of time.
That's,
Look at, I just dropped a shell.
Validated.
Well,
easier to find here than there, I guess.
I know. So
Filthy.
4 eggs. You're gonna put in 4 eggs. I left them out. They're room temperature. That really doesn't matter, but I just, feel like it's easier when everything's the same kind of temperature. And yes, I'm just dropping them straight on the
okay.
counter. It's making a big old mess. So 4 eggs, 1 cup of milk. I use whole milk. I think it makes baking everything taste better
Yes.
when it's creamier. We're gonna throw
does.
that in. 2 sticks of melted butter, but room temperature. Like, don't make it boiling. So we're
Oh
gonna
yeah,
throw
no.
that in. Yeah.
If it's too hot and it mixes with the milk, your milk's gonna get all clumpy and gross.
Oh, that makes my stomach hurt.
Yeah, it's gross.
That's just flavor.
It's nasty. So we're gonna throw the eggs in. My shellless eggs.
Minus the shell.
You get so mad. I like just, I'm just throwing stuff in. I got stuff to do. Like, I'm not trying to spend my whole day
We're not professional.
and making more dishes for him to wash later. Okay, so you're just gonna mix this up, which
Yep.
it's easy. You don't need a mixer for this. I mean, you
Yeah.
can use one, but you don't need it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Super simple.
no, we have our mixer out later to ruin the cake.
Yes.
Like it. Feels like it's gonna feel good to ruin the cake. I
It
don't know
is.
why.
Is it like satisfying?
Yeah, that's what
Kind
it
of,
feels like.
yeah.
Doesn't it satisfying?
You just like crumbled it up.
Okay, so we're gonna pour it in. Now, when we go to take this out, it may stick a little bit on these sides, but again, we're not making a perfect cake, so nobody cares.
Yep.
Nobody cares. I'm just gonna pour it in. And I used a bigger pan like this so it'll cook faster, so we can get to cake pop making quicker.
Yes.
Okay, so the oven is 350. We're gonna put this 9x13 pan in for 28 to 35 minutes.
Shut up and put it in.
That's what she said. She said stick it in. All right, our cake is done. And if you're gonna let it sit for a bit, cover it with foil to keep the steam in, okay? We're back.
Okay.
The
Yes.
cake is done, and
Yep.
we put foil on it so it would stay moist.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep,
so
yep, yep.
now
So now
Nicole's into her
we
magic.
get to break it up.
come out.
You just
Yep.
get in there with your hands and just like get dirty?
Yep, and just get dirty.
It's-
So the parchment paper lets it lift right out, super easy. So we're just gonna take chunks of this, throw it in
Smells
here.
good.
And you can do this while
That's how I like to eat cake right there.
it's yeah, just buy the chunk.
Well, that's why I just threw it in
just,
this pan.
Yep, just get a big old chunk at a time and throw it in there. It can be done while it's piping hot. So if you do that, obviously, like you're gonna use your spatula or something, or scoop it in there.
Don't melt your hands off.
Yeah, don't melt your skin off. That's not fun. Feel this? It's super moist, and that's what we want. At the end, when it's all crumbled up, we want it to feel like Play-Doh. So this paddle attachment is gonna help us make it stick to itself, and it's gonna be gorgeous.
I think a lot of people do use frosting, right?
They do use frosting. I I don't, just because I feel like the frosting makes it taste too sweet.
I agree with you completely.
And then it's like you only want to take one little bite and you're like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
But this way,
This is the baker's cut. Sorry.
Yep. There you go. You got to sample the goods.
Oh,
you got to
really
sample it. The other thing, so we used butter, and that's fine, and that makes sure that's going to give a lot of moisture to your cake. The other thing you can use is a sour cream or Greek yogurt.
I like the sour cream too.
Yeah, sour cream also makes it super moist. The advantage to sour cream, and this is for like if you're gonna like make cake pops and have them out on display the next day or something, butter can seep into the cake pop stick and turn yellow.
Okay.
So if you ever go to Starbucks and you see yellow on the stick, it's because there's too much butter in the
I
cake.
heard oil does that too, right?
Yep, oil does that too.
Oil does
So
it
if
too.
you don't want that coloring, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, and it tastes great. If you want to avoid that yellow coloring on the stick, use sour cream or Greek yogurt.
Or eat them instantly.
Or just eat them right
eat
away.
the whole
Don't let 'em sit
amount
too
of
long.
them immediately.
Yeah, don't let them sit too long. All right, so now we're just gonna turn on the paddle attachment and
Let's lock it.
Yep,
What do you
lock
want,
it
just
first. Yep,
like
we don't-
super
we
slow,
don't
like
want it flying
stir?
around. Yeah.
All right.
You can just do low. Whoops.
This is what happens.
Yep.
Welcome to my kitchen.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, low speed is fine, and you're just gonna let it crumble. Now, the hotter it is, the faster it'll bind because the steam will still be coming out, and it's not gonna look like anything at first. You're gonna think, oh my God, it's just making crumbs. But after a while, it'll start to stick to itself.
Okay, that's good to know because I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, it like doesn't
made
look
sand.
like
We made cake sand.
Yeah, it looks like sand at first, and then after a few minutes, it actually starts biting up together, and you'll hear it like rattling around in the bowl.
All right.
So just give it a minute. It's gonna go for a few minutes. Now, when you're impatient like me, I'll actually at this point I'll start doing it with my hands because now it's all broken up.
Yeah.
So that'll make it bind. So if you want to like,
Do you want us to? We can stop it.
Yeah, we can switch to that.
All right.
And
Oh, God.
and bind it. Yeah.
I always forget how heavy this
see,
is.
like this chunk, it's starting to like stick together, and it kind of has like this dense like
Totally.
texture to it. So now you're gonna see this, and you'll see it start sticking to itself, and it gets all thick. And then once you start doing this to it, see that it's kind of got that Play-Doh kind of.
It's like that kinetic
feeling.
sand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is another option too. If you don't own a stand mixer, you don't have to have one to do this. You can totally do this with your hands, and it comes out just the same. So we are going, and
Just
I
have to
washed
have
my
muscles.
hands, don't worry.
Oh no, we don't care. We like that here.
Okay,
We like
so-
dirty
It's
cake
a flavor.
pops. Yeah. It's okay.
You can see, like it's starting to just gain more volume here as you mash it up. Okay.
It really does stick like that.
It does. And so some people think that they need the frosting for it to do
Yeah.
this, and you don't. Like the moisture of the cake by itself is making it do this.
I literally thought you had to use frosting.
No.
I mean, I've never made cake pops before, so.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine if you do the recipe according to the box, if you do it from a box mix, the cake would probably be way drier than this.
Oh yeah, you have to
So
use
you
extra
need-
butter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And an extra egg for like binding. Yeah.
Exactly. So if you did it according to the box, the frosting would probably help get to this consistency.
Yeah.
But okay, and that's it. So you just mash it up. So this is like what you want it to look like. You want it to be like this. When you press on it, you want that shape to stay, and then that way we'll know it's ready to be rolled into our little cake pop balls, all right?
All right.
Now when I roll the balls, I do it by hand. There are little shape makers and cake pop molds out there, but for a round cake pop, it's just literally rolling it in your hands. And I use about 1.1 ounces, like between 1 and 1.1 ounces of cake for each cake pop. Okay, so you're gonna just play with it in your hands.
All right.
See what
Now we're
happens?
talking.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you just want to mash this up until it feels like it's not going to fall apart. If your cake starts to fall apart during this step, then it's too dry. So in that case, okay, like 1 tablespoon of frosting might help. But this is really, really moist. I don't know if you can see how moist this cake is.
My cake is
right
super
there.
moist.
It is so moist. Oh wait, that was too much.
Hashtag see my OnlyFans channel again.
There you go. There we go. All right, so you're just gonna keep playing with it until it just feels nice and firm. I mean, when I
That
say
sounds
firm,
horrible, too.
I know.
Until it gets firm.
Yeah, this isn't getting better. It's all right. It's all
I'm
right.
not helping.
This is not a children's show.
I know, it's not.
Do not, yeah.
PG, okay. So what we're gonna do from here is I'm just gonna roll it. Just gonna roll it until it becomes a perfect little. So if your cake is too moist, it's gonna fall apart and you won't get it to make this shape, right? This is what we want. This is not a perfect circle, but you get the gist. It's
Pumpkins aren't perfect.
You would just
It's all
have
right.
to keep rolling it until it got totally smooth. The other thing you'll notice, if your cake is too moist, it would actually just crack and fall apart every time you got to this step, but we're okay. Like this is staying, so
Good.
this is good. So you're just gonna roll it like that. So we've got our little cake pop ball there. The other thing we have here is I have white chocolate melts, and this is just, you can buy this anywhere, Michael's, Joann's, you can buy them online on Amazon.
Yeah.
And
Link below.
yeah.
Link will be down
Right.
below from
Link
Amazon.
below.
Yep.
This one in particular is Stover is the brand. I work with their chocolate a lot because it melts super easily. I don't get, some of the other brands I've tried, I get little streaks in the chocolate after it dries. This one's pretty smooth. You're gonna need food coloring. For chocolate, you cannot use anything water or gel based. Your food coloring has to be oil based, because water and oil don't mix. And if you melt these chocolates, which have oil in it, and you put water in there, a water-based food coloring, your chocolate's just gonna turn hard and you won't be able to dip, and you'll be like, what's wrong with this? And everything will fall apart and your life is ruined.
Then I was just gonna say, then your whole day is ruined.
Exactly. So it's gotta be an oil-based food color, so that's super important. So today I'm gonna use Color Mill. We've got orange because we're gonna try to turn this into a little pumpkin. All right, and then cake pop sticks, little spatula to mix with, and then yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna start. You melt your chocolate melts. You just need to do it in, the most common thing is to do 30-second bursts in the microwave. So 30 seconds, take it out, mix it up, and then another 30 seconds. But the darker the color your chocolate is, so if you're doing milk chocolate, you're turning it into black colored chocolate or like dark blue or purple. You actually want to decrease the amount of time every time you reheat it, because then your chocolate will burn. So you can't stick it in for 30 seconds every single time, every color. You'll notice, because when you give it a stir, you'll notice it kind of curdling a little bit, and that's the start of the chocolate burning, okay?
Nobody wants that.
We don't want that.
That's
all right, so we're gonna pop this in the microwave for 30 seconds.
That's
so
scary.
we melted our chocolate melts, and this consistency, this is what you want. It kind of has a watery flow, okay? And so if it's not falling off the spatula that fast, you need to put it in there for another like 10 to 15 seconds. But look at how nice and glossy that is. That's what you want, okay? And we're gonna put in our oil-based food coloring. All right.
You ruined my cutting board.
I know.
That's not your cutting board. Do you hear this?
I just started, I only put 4 drops to start, so we're gonna give that a stir and see how much of the color it takes.
Orange enough.
We're gonna make a pumpkin, so we're doing orange. So right now we were at kind of like a pastel orange here, but that was kind of, that was maybe about 10 ounces of chocolate, and I only did 4 drops. So it could probably take another few drops. So let me just scrape the bottom too, because you'll see all that white still down there. Or you could wear gloves when you do this, but I just used paper towels.
You don't
It was
do
right
that.
Nobody there.
Nobody wears gloves around here.
All right, so here it is. We added just a few more drops, and again, there's that consistency. It's nice and liquidy, and it's falling off our spatula. It's super easy. Got our cake pop stick. I'm gonna just take the cake pop to turn it into a pumpkin. I'm gonna press it against the cake pop. I'm gonna make these little ridges.
Well, I'm glad it's not falling apart.
That looks super deep, but that's because as soon as we coat it, it will become more subtle. And if I was only to do it that deep, the chocolate would probably just cover it right up.
wouldn't even see it.
You wouldn't see it, yeah. All right, probably have room for one more.
That's good to know.
All right, so that is what our cake pop looks like right now. So I'm going to put the stick in. You wanna create an anchor, so you're gonna dip the end of this in the chocolate before you insert it into your cake pop. And you're just gonna slightly,
You're gonna violate that.
you're just gonna,
Poor pumpkin.
you're just gonna violate your pumpkin cake pop. And right now you can let it sit for like a minute or so that the anchor hardens, because this chocolate
Hardens while it's been violated.
It's just getting worse.
yeah,
and worse.
I know.
There's no way to be nice about
There's
it. There
no
just
way.
isn't. Yeah.
The chocolate, while it's sitting here all together in here, the temperature is insulated, but the little bit that we take out to put onto the stick, it's gonna harden pretty quickly. So this stuff, you can let it sit while you're working on your other pops and rolling everything else. All right, so we're just gonna let that sit for a minute until this little piece of chocolate down there is firm. Otherwise, if you try to dip it while it hasn't hardened, this whole thing will just slide off and fall into your chocolate.
We're gonna have to eat them out of the cup
And then-
of chocolate.
Yeah, and then it's really messy. We've got our cake pop, the anchor is hardened, so now we're gonna dip it into the chocolate, and there's no science to this. You're literally just gonna dunk it in there. I usually take like the back of a butter knife and I lightly tap on the stick, because there's gonna be excess chocolate. If this dries with the excess chocolate, it's gonna be too heavy and your cake pop will just sink and slide right down the top, okay? And it's not pretty. I'm just gonna take this, you're just gonna submerge it in there. You can tilt it to make sure the whole surface of the cake pop gets coated, and then lift it out. And you're just gonna lightly tap this and it'll just start falling right off of the cake pop there. And you can turn the cake pop as you're tapping, and you want as much of this to come off as possible. Now, I'm just gonna give a few more taps in the, like I turned the cake pop over and I'm just tapping it a few more times. Sometimes you'll see little bubbles form. If you put the bubble on the top of your cake pop and you tap, it'll usually settle and come out. If it doesn't pop and settle, you can just take like the end of a scribe or a toothpick and pop it and then tap and it'll smooth it out. Okay, so this is pretty much it. Now, I don't know if this is visible. You can see the ridges now.
Yeah.
So now that looks like a pumpkin. From here, you can add a leaf made of fondant, edible markers. You can draw a jack-o'-lantern face on it.
Googly eyes.
Googly eyes.
Giant googly eyes.
They make sprinkles of like eyeballs.
I think I have some.
So you can throw whatever you want on your cake pop. Do you want to put eyeballs on there?
Look
can
at,
do
I really do.
eyeballs.
I have them in all different
Oh,
sizes.
perfect. Pick the scariest ones you got.
You want the giant
So
eyeballs?
you can use fondant to make leaves.
Oh, dude.
Or the little vines that grow in a pumpkin patch. Okay, there you go. Our pumpkin
Wait,
is gonna
there.
look so funny.
Okay, I have that.
If you are gonna add eyes, do it while the chocolate is wet. Okay, and it's pretty shiny and that indicates it's still wet. If you don't have the eyes like in time to do that, you can just go back with a kitchen torch and ever so slightly melt the chocolate, and then
that would be bad for me.
I don't know if this is gonna look like a pumpkin after we put eyes on it.
That's
Wait,
funny.
Okay, I think I'm gonna make a leaf real quick. I mean, it's gonna look so fun.
So it looks cute
All right.
before we put the googly eyes on
Yeah.
it.
Let's show it. Yeah.
I think that's fine.
Take your cake pop stick and you're just gonna wrap it around, like coiling it almost, or spiraling, I don't know, twisting, just like that. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. And then it gets that shape you want, and you just slide it off of the cake pop stick. So now you've got that spiral vine looking piece of fondant that you'd see at like a pumpkin patch, and we just sit it on top of our pumpkin.
It's
And
cute.
there it is.
It looks
There it
like
is.
a pumpkin.
It is. Right.
Yeah.
And then if you want to go crazy, I mean, I have orange glitter. You can throw glitter on there. You can do, all kinds of stuff.
Well, things in there aren't deep at all now that it's been
Right.
dipped.
Yeah. See, so if I had
I
done
would've messed that up.
If I did that subtly,
Yeah.
they'd be gone.
I
And
would have totally done it lately
Yeah.
and then had it look awful.
It would just look like
Yeah.
a clean
Put the
ball.
googly eyes on now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He needs googly eyes.
All right. Here's googly eyes. All right. We're gonna just put one.
This is what happens.
This is funny.
Yep.
All right. There. Now
Oh
we've got
my
our
gosh.
freaky pumpkin. There's your freaky pumpkin.
There is your creepy pumpkin.
Happy Halloween.
We've,
Our pumpkin
we've
man.
named him Reginald, our little pumpkin cake pop with googly eyes.
We will be eating him later.
If this look is not for you, you can just leave it plain. Like I said, you could get you can get black chocolate in a piping bag and do
More
eyes
appropriate.
yourself. You
More
can
appropriate
make a little
eyes.
jack-o'-lantern face if you're skilled enough to because it's like drawing with your hand, but with chocolate.
Yeah.
Or get an edible marker.
All right, wrap it up.
All right.
All right. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And again, you can find Nicole's awesome stuff on Instagram at Hero Cake Pops, which we will put her Instagram somewhere here.
You guys are horrible at this.
We haven't even been drinking.
We don't even know what we're doing.
We've had no booze.
I know.
We swear.
Nicole will be back.
Yes, Nicole
I
will
will.
definitely be back. We'll drink next time while we
then
bake.
we'll really have fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
And we will see you next Tuesday.
All right. Happy Halloween.